Hi, this is Rachel, and this is my first video blog, my first vlog. And today, I'm gonna start talking about my job at Sonic. Now, I worked at Burger King, I worked at GameStop, and I worked at Sonic, and this was all last year during my senior year. And the thing with Burger King was it didn't work out right because I was working, uh, I was at school, and I had full-time high school, and they were working me about 35 hours a week, which is that's just way too much, on top of high school. And so I had to quit because there was nothing else they could do about it because we were losing employees there, and I had to cover for other people's shifts. But I quit there, and then I worked at GameStop because I've always wanted to work at GameStop. And I was seasonal. I worked there for a little bit. I didn't do too well there. There was a lot to memorize. There's a lot to do. Like most of the time, I was just organizing the shelves over and over and over again because I was seasonal. We had a lot of people coming in. It was in the mall, not one here. It was in the mall out in Northeast Tennessee. But I was reorganizing shelves, and then every time you turn around, some kid picks up a game, puts it over in the Xbox section when it belongs in the PlayStation section, stuff like that. And it was annoying, but I actually got let go over there because I was seasonal. I wasn't permanent. And so I started working at Sonic because one of my best friends worked at Sonic. And, I thought, well, it's not like fast food, because I hated working fast food. It was really stressful and everything. And, because there's not really a lot of room for mistakes. It's kind of and you got to be really quick and everything because people want their food right now. If it's during like a lunch rush or a dinner rush, or people in the morning want their breakfast before they go to school or to work, you have to be quick because if you make a mistake and you have to remake stuff, it holds up the line in the drive-through. And so uh, I worked at Sonic for over this summer. I started in April, and I had to leave because, of course, I went to college. And um, it was it wasn't worth it. Like, I mean, the people that I worked with were great. They were hilarious. Whereas at Burger King, the people there they were mostly adults. There weren't really many kids, and so I didn't really I mean, I got along with them all right, but I wasn't like, I didn't make jokes with them or anything like that. It was just like a bunch of people working together. That's pretty much all it was. Whereas at Sonic, it was like, you go on Facebook and you send your coworkers videos and stuff like that because they get the humor. You would enjoy your time with them for the most part. Now, the main problem were the customers, honestly, and also the tipping. At Sonic, you're supposed to tip because I make about 3.13 an hour, and I mean, you don't have to. It's one of those restaurants where you do tip, and a lot of people don't realize that because it's a lot like fast food, but it's not fast food. It's a drive-in, and plus I knew that you were supposed to tip because my dad is a little. He's kind of old. He's he's in his 60s, and back when he was a kid, there was no fast food. That was your fast food. Were drive-ins. You would drive in and eat your meal, and then you get to go. There was no drive-in or drive-through McDonald's or anything like that. And like there was a McDonald's, but it wasn't like a drive-through. And so he knew that you'd have someone skate out to you or walk out to you and take your order on a pen and paper, and then you tip them. See, nowadays it's kind of like you take your own order, but you have people bring it out to you, so you're kind of doing half the work. So they don't realize that you tip. And especially where the location I was at, like, I mean, I don't know how I've heard that they tip better in other places, but where I was at, it was in a very strange location. It was like in between a city and a town on a highway. And it was we got a lot of crazy people for some reason. A lot of people said like the Sonics around us, the other ones, they had great customers. It was fine. It was average. But for some reason, the one that I was at had a lot of crazies because of, I guess, just the location of it. And like but like I would, in the computer, you take the money up and you have it in a wallet, and because that's what the computer can it shows on the computer. The computer records how much like the total of every order, and it records that, and so that's what's going to come out of your wallet. And you know, you take up money for orders, and whatever you would put it in the computer, and the computer would tell you how much you owe, and then whatever is left over, that's what you get to take home for tips. If that makes sense. I don't know if I explained it very well, but you get the stuff left over is your tips. And so I would get $400 in my wallet just for orders, and I would get to take home about $16 in tips, because it just 1/4 of the people that came in, like I would count how many people would tip. Only like 1/4 of them would tip, and the people that did tip would just say like keep the change. It would only be like 30 cents worth of change. And so you know, that didn't work out too well. That wasn't very good, and I don't think it was really worth it. But I'm gonna tell you some of the crazies that came into Sonic that they were really strange. Well, first off, there was this lady, we called her Crazy Susan. She would come on the patio. She would push the order button over and over again, and then she wouldn't order anything. We would, you know, be like, you know, welcome to Sonic, may I take your order, please? She'd be like, no, I don't want anything. We go outside, be like, can we get you anything? She'd, no, I don't want anything. And she'd talk to herself on the patio, and then she would just get up and leave and walk across the highway and go into the woods wherever she came from. You know, whatever cave she lived in. She wasn't mean. She was just like that. That's what she did. And she would come in all the time. She wouldn't eat anything. She wouldn't do anything. She'd just sit on the patio and talk to herself. And then we have this one guy, and we call him the Candy Man. And he he orders 2 bags of ice. And then when you go and give him his bags of ice, what he does is he gives you a handful of candy. Like, he pays for the ice, and then he gives you a handful of candy, and you can't refuse it, because he insists that you take his candy. If you refuse, he's like, no, you take the candy. And I think it's poisoned, because it's not even good candy. It's like the candy that people put poison in, like Jolly Ranchers, and like gummy. It's not gummy. It's just like chewy stuff, like Jolly Ranchers, like hard and chewy and gooey. And the worst part is he would like get it off the bottom of his floor in his car, and then he'd be like, here you go. Like, thank you for your floor candy. I really appreciate that, you know. But that was disgusting. One of the guys I worked with tried it once. He said it wasn't that bad, but I don't believe him, because that stuff was disgusting. It had like hair in it, and it wasn't right. And but we also had this one lady, we called her the trash lady, or the garbage lady. She would pull up, and we didn't have a drive-through at our Sonic. It was just solely a drive-in. Like, there was nothing else. It was just drive-in. There was no drive-through. And so this one lady would pull up to the building, like where the where you can see through the window on the inside of the building. She would pull up right there where we can see her. And no joke, she had, like, it was from the roof of her car in the back seat full of garbage. Like, you can't even see out the back window. It was all the way to the roof in the back seat. And it wasn't garbage like just old clothes and boxes and stuff like that. It was like garbage, like McDonald's wrappers, pudding cups, banana peels. And when she was done with her Sonic burger, she would just throw the wrapper back in the back of the car. It was disgusting. She came up. She would come in a few times, but another thing was my face is yellow. Another thing was like another thing she had in the passenger seat of her car. It was at eye level, full of garbage. And so it was like an avalanche of garbage going from the back seat into the front. It was disgusting. And one of the guys would go out there and serve her food, and then come back in and be like, that was disgusting. I don't want to do that again. And she would come in every now and then. And then we had another crazy lady. On my first day on the job, I get a thing on the screen, because I was making drinks, and it said a Route 44, which is our largest size, Diet Coke with extra ice. And I was thinking, okay, well, they want extra ice. That's just, you fill it up to the top of the cup with ice, and then pour in the Coke. And so I made that, and I gave it to the guy to take it out to her. The guy comes back and explains to me about this crazy nut. she said, or he said, that she wants so much ice in there that she can't squeeze her cup. She'll sit there in front of you and squeeze her cup when you give it to her. He said he took it out to her, and he goes, have a nice day. He turns around, and he hears a and she's back there squeezing her cup. And so Mark had to take it back, and he had to he showed me how to do it, and like it's packed full of ice, and then you pour on the Diet Coke and it just runs right down. It runs like just down the cup. It doesn't even go inside. There's so much ice in there. And then he tries to put the lid on and it's like bulging out. It was horrible. And the thing is, like, we give away mints. The reason why we give mints to customers with all the orders is because the guy who founded Sonic believed that every customer was worth a mint, like a mint of gold. And so we would give her the mints, and she'd be like, I don't want your stupid mints. And then she'd throw them back at you. She was mean. And she worked in fast food, too. You'd think, well, she works fast food. She would understand how difficult this stuff is, especially when the customers make it difficult. And so that was not good. And then we had another lady, and she would come in, and she would order food, and then you bring it out to her. And then you go back in the restaurant, and then she would order food again for like dessert after she was done with her meal, and you give her dessert, like a sundae or something, and then she would dump her garbage onto your feet, like from her first meal, and then she'd eat the sundae halfway through, and then she'd dump that on your feet. And I was like, I would, like you could just drive around and go throw it away on your way out, but no, that was too much trouble for her, so she would throw it on my feet, and she would wait for you to get there too. It was just the rudest thing, because I would be like, I want to go up to her and be like, I could throw that away for you so you don't have to mess up my shoes, so that, I'll do the responsible thing, but I can't say that to her. But, I mean, like, a lot of the customers were just crazy. They were all aggressive. A lot of people said that they were of a new breed. They are not like regular customers. They were crazy customers. It was very stressful. I wouldn't want to do it again, unless, I would have people throw garbage at me because they'd be like, my order's wrong. You put onions on my order, or on my hot dog or something like that. And then they would throw garbage at me when I was walking back and forth to serve other customers. Like, they were aggressive. And the weird thing is, the people that were the most aggressive, that said they were never going to come back again, were the people that would come back every day. Like, they were regular customers. So we had a lot of crazy people there, and it's not like it's at any other Sonic. It was like our Sonic specifically just had crazy people. It was very weird. But, well, I've been talking for a while. I feel sorry for you to have to watch all of this, but, that was my experience at Sonic. I'd probably work back there at the winter when there's not a whole bunch of people, and it's, you can get some money, but I wouldn't work there over the summer again. Probably not, because that was just too stressful. And, it was hard, but, well, thank you for watching this. And have a nice day.